Hello and welcome to a special bonus episode of the Unrefined Jagoff. I'm your host, Ian Cavelli. This one's going to be a short one and it's going to be completely improvised because I don't have much time before the month ends and my hosting is all used up. So let's start this one off good. Go leave me a review on the Twitters or the whatever you kids are using these days. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on what else is there? Is it Instagram? Did I say Instagram? I'm on Instagram too. So go share my pictures. Use my Facebook. Christina says use my Facebook. Pinterest. I don't have a Pinterest. Okay, well, she says I do now. Okay, so this episode's going to be a short one. I'll just make it about sports. Let's just face it. I am not good at sports. As a kid, I was really skinny, and now I'm fat, and my bones are brittle, so it doesn't really work out so well. I've broken my collarbone twice within 6 months of each other when I was about 14. The first time I was playing rugby because my brother made it seem like it was fun, because all he did was go around and drink all the time and hang out with a bunch of crazy people. So I was like, hey, why don't I try that? And it was a pretty bad idea. First off, the first couple practices were in the pouring rain, freezing rain, and I had absolutely no meat on my bones, so I just froze to death and had to leave like halfway into the practice. Our first tournament was in Indiana, and I had no idea. I'm afraid of running towards people running at me, so I'm not exactly the best person to play sports with. The best, well, I guess it would be the worst memory of any of the games was when I was getting towards, there was a guy running towards me, this really large kid, and just in time, someone blew the whistle, and I was the only person standing there, and he would have crushed me. And he just walked away saying, "You lucky, you lucky." And you know what? I was lucky, because that kid would have crushed me. But that wasn't the worst part about rugby. Actually, it was pretty much the end of the season, surprisingly, that I made it through. And I got stiff-armed by some guy and landed on my collarbone, and I kind of just sat there like, shit! And I couldn't see for a second, and I thought I just got the wind knocked out of me. I sat there a minute and felt along the line of my collarbone, which had a large bump in it, and said, this doesn't feel normal, does it? So my brother thought it'd be a good idea to drive onto the field and pick me up. And all the coaches said, hey, there's nothing wrong with his legs, are they? And there wasn't. He just wanted to drive onto the field. So the second time I broke my collarbone was exactly 6 months later, the first wrestling practice. I didn't even make it through the entire practice. I went up against a guy about the same size as me. It didn't seem like it'd be too bad. And he flung me onto my shoulder, and I just ran, fuck! And I heard a large, really loud snap. And I got up and I said, I think I broke my collarbone again. So I went to the nurse's office and called my mom, and I said, hey Mom, I think I broke my collarbone again. And she said, you're kidding. And she came to pick me up. When we got to the hospital, one of the nurses told me maybe I should take up a safer sport, like chess. And he was probably right, but I honestly don't know how to play chess. I thought I'd be good at wrestling because in first and second grade I got like 4th place in some competition, but apparently years of inactivity made it pretty hard to be in shape. The truth about wrestling, though, is the only reason I started wrestling in first and second grade is because my dad used to buy my brother Taco Bell, and I wanted in on some of that action. And I feel like once I started, I barely got any Taco Bell. I was getting gypped. And that's really the only reason I played my first sports was to get fast food. I didn't play any other sports until 3rd and 4th grade when I started playing basketball. I was not good at basketball either. Between 2 seasons, I made 1 basket. And I got most improved player my second season because our team won a championship, but I owe it all to the big kid that we all threw the ball to. Everybody in grade school pretty much just thinks, oh, that kid's big and fat, no one can knock him over, let's throw it to him. But one sport I think I'm going to try avoid playing for as long as I can is golf. Golf might be a safe sport for most people, but not for me. My first memories of playing golf were when I was young. My dad made us take golfing lessons, and the only thing I remember is our teacher had really red eyes and drank a lot of Fruitopia, and he was kind of weird. And after that, I didn't play for a really long time. I did not learn very much from those lessons. In fact, when I was in my early 20s, my dad decided it'd be a good idea to ask me if I wanted to go to the driving range. Usually I just say, no, I don't feel like it. And I made the mistake of saying, sure, this time, because I thought it'd be nice to do something with my dad. We hit a couple, and I hit a couple more, and then one of them I just happened to hit at a really weird angle that bounced forward off a dividing rod into my face, and then I was gushing blood all over the place. And I just kind of sounded like, oh, shit. It was the palest I've ever seen my dad's face turn. And then he ran and gave me a dirty golf towel to put over my lip until we could get to the hospital. And we ran to the hospital and waited around for about an hour while we heard some lady have some weird pregnancy test that sounded a little odd. But, she was much more of a priority than the guy bleeding all over the place. So we waited and waited and waited some more, and finally I got one doctor to take a look at me, and, obviously I had a giant gash in my face. So they rinsed it out and waited some more. Then I had one doctor stitch it up, another doctor come in and look at it and say, oh, you stitched this up all wrong, and had him restitch it. So that was a pain in the ass. And before I know it, I was in there for a good 2 or 3 hours. So, as you might have assumed by the past few stories, I'm not very good at sports. I don't really understand sports. In most conversations I have with people, I fake my way through and hope they don't notice that I don't know what they're talking about. So, that's going to probably be it for this episode. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends. Go on, like my social medias. Give me a 5-star review. And I'll see you next time. This is Ian Cavelli, signing off. Oh, also, remember, don't be dicks to each other.